We are back from a little time away. A lot has happened in our Xfinity Series content, but we here at SMRN are going to give you a couple shows that are, well, a little different. But first, let's roll that intro! Hi guys, welcome back to the weekly spin here on SMRN. My name is Zach, and I'm over here with my buddy David. Say hello to the internet, Dave.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our channel here. Good to be with you. Zach covering some new content for these drivers here. Something a little different as we get into it this week compared to the other weeks. Missing some other necessary items for us to do our regular shows, so we decided this would be a good way to shake things up a little bit.
Yeah, and so something that our viewers need to know about the Ghost Xfinity Series is that with this particular league, there are a lot of drivers that you may not know about. And early on through this very young season, through 4 races, there are those that we are going to consider guys that are, well, front runners, guys that are running away from this, that you should probably get on their bandwagon before they get too big of a following moving forward in this Ghost Xfinity Series season. And we here on the channel wanted to lay out for you some top dogs, some runaway favorites here early on in this Xfinity Series Season 4 Ghost in their inaugural season here on iRacing. And then in another video, David and I are going to talk about maybe some of those underdogs, some of those guys who have been sneakily good through these first 4 races. Perhaps you're not the kind of guy that wants to get on board and root for the top dog right away. Maybe you want to root for a guy that grows over time. We want to share with you kind of the personalities of these drivers moving forward as the season rolls along here for Ghost. So there's a lot of stuff that's happening, a lot of things that are going on with Ghost Xfinity Series content. So make sure that you tune in and watch them on YouTube and through their Facebook platform as well. So you can search up Ghost League on Facebook and find out all the links that you need to go and find to keep up with this series. But in the meantime, stay with us. We'll teach you a thing or two. David, we're going to talk about some favorites here in this series, and we have it here on the screen in our weekly spin rundown. You got a name of a guy who has just been on a tear for Ghost Xfinity Series. Talk to the crowd about your guy to watch.
So we have both agreed on a driver already, but the driver that I am watching personally is Robert Cottenbach. He has done so well in these first 4 races. Out of these 4, he has a win. He has 3 top 5s, and he hasn't missed a top 10 yet. Amazing to see, and currently tied for the points lead. This is a driver that's quick. He seems to qualify well, and then especially during those strategy calls and throughout the race, you can find him up front battling for positions and trying to secure that win.
Yeah, and so Hottenbach, he's been a guy who he's from Texas, and he's got some of that racing, real life racing background in his story. He's done street stocks and fantasy stocks, and he's done some go-kart races in his time. And so if there's anybody in this Xfinity Series field that can afford to miss a week and hop in hitting the ground running, I think it's Rob Hottenbach. So that's a pretty solid pick. Although I would say is a safe pick as Robert is continually showing up week in and week out to perform at the level that he's doing. Unlike the guy that we're gonna talk about towards the bottom here, but he's got his own story. But Robert has been very very well rounded here in the early season of Xfinity action. David, how can that real life experience maybe play into Robert's story as this season unfolds?
So, looking here, as you mentioned, Robert Hattenbach has some of that real life racing experience. Understanding how a car should react to different conditions on a track, and then having that understanding of, if I'm turning the wheel this much, maybe that's a little bit too much, and having that real life experience behind the wheel of a car, actually feeling and truly understanding what that feedback in the wheel is telling you, what the audio from your car is telling you. Those are all things this driver can specifically take advantage of from his real life experience and relate it back to the sim.
Yeah, absolutely. So Robert's definitely got a leg up on some of these guys when it comes to real life action, and we're seeing that translate very quickly into the Ghost Xfinity Series action. Well, David, it is a good pick, but a guy that I want to highlight that we maybe disagree on, as we both say our picks are good, right? We wouldn't be the ones to hop on each other's bandwagons. We feel very strongly about our picks. But regardless, I want to talk to y'all about the driver, that number 3 Chevy, Lucas Whitehead. We talked about him running for Sizemore Motorsports earlier on in this season, and he's running that Townsend Plumbing Camaro, as we talked about. And I really think that Lucas has the potential to be a guy that consistently contends and gets wins week in and week out here in the Xfinity Series. I'm looking right now. I'm trying to bring up his stats. I got a lot of screens going on right now, but Lucas is third in points. Although he does not have a win on this season, he is 3 for 4 rolling off the field quick, which means he's got 3 poles in the 4 races that he's raced this season. He knows how to hit the track running, so to speak, and unload very quickly. And early on in most of these races here in the Xfinity Series, that number 3 car is one to contend with early on. I'm waiting to see him put it all together, right? We are waiting for that day for that number 3 car to go back into victory lane and to tie 100% of the race together, maybe instead of that first little bit. And David, as a new driver, perhaps going into the Xfinity Series, how big of a jump is it to go from I got 80% of this race, I'm doing really really well, and then I fall off, to eventually putting it together and getting 100% of that race and really wrapping all of that together?
You're absolutely correct. He is so close, 80%. I would even give him 95% for a few of these races. Just being there, obviously getting pole position, being quick, but a lot of it equates to short run speed at some of these tracks. Maybe being a bit too aggressive too early, earning those fast laps, burning some rubber, or just making a bad call in general about trying to extend that lead a little too far. We did have 2 draft-heavy tracks with Daytona and Michigan already run here on the schedule. So those can be very important tracks to keep the draft, but not get too far out front where that driver behind you then has a huge run or huge advantage coming at you out of those turns. Once Lucas figures this out, I think I might be on board with you, having a driver to watch pick here, but it'll be interesting to see him finally put it all together, maybe lay down a pole and a win in one race. That would be something special. Haven't seen that quite yet out of him, but something to watch for this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, driving that number 3 car, there's that extra pressure, right? You put yourself in that machine, you're gonna have to get some wins. And I think Lucas is up for the challenge, but he is clearly a favorite early on. However, we digress, because as you can see here towards the bottom of our screen, we got a top dog that we both agree on. And, well, the stats don't lie. Jeffrey Radke is just running away with this thing. David, talk to the viewers about this phenom who has really come out of the woodwork, has missed a race, and is still contending at a high level.
So, taking a look at our stats here, tied with my pick for first place, 319 points, having the points lead for the league. He only has 3 starts, 2 wins out of those 3 starts, and 3 for 3 on top 5s. This driver is absolutely on fire. Maybe not going out there right away and using his stuff up like we were saying about Lucas, earning those poles in 3 of these races and really getting out front. But this driver is out front come the end of the race when it counts. He's up there contending for those spots later in the race, has really great strategy, really great peace of mind, and knows when to just absolutely pull away from these guys in some cases. Fun to watch, and I think we might be looking at someone who is a serious contender for our league championship here.
Yeah, definitely. And we talked about Radke here on the show a couple weeks ago about how that strategy, right? That smarts that it takes to put a strategy together late in a race, to put you on the freshest tires, to work through the field and get the guy at the end of the race to make the pass with 6 laps to go and to win the thing. It's been really neat to watch him push the field to perhaps a higher level of competitiveness. And this could be a guy, David, that we might see get maybe a cup start or 2 before the season ends. I know that there are some cup guys on this through Ghost that are looking for fill-in drivers. What would it take for them to say, hey, you know what? Maybe I own a team, championship leader here in the Xfinity Series. Let's put him in a cup car and see what he can do.
Absolutely. Team owners looking down into the Xfinity Series, looking to promote, or maybe not from one of the teams specifically. We do have a couple of free agents up in our Cup Series that, hey, I'm missing a week. Here's an Xfinity driver. Maybe I'll just toss it into that general chat and give them an opportunity. And maybe Jeffrey's been looking for that chance, looking for a ride, and he takes it and he starts with us up in the Cup Series. Man, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, that would be a awesome story. I mean, eventually, that's what Ghost wants this series to move into, right? They want a pipeline. They want people to grow. They want people to develop, and then eventually move into cup rides. So what an awesome story would that be for any one of these drivers to get the call and go, hey, can you fill in for a week? What would that be like? Man, I think Ghost would have to implement a yellow stripe rule to let people know, hey, there's an Xfinity driver up here.
For sure. And, bringing new guys into the field, it's great fun, but up in the Cup Series, I know you and I are always skeptical of those newer drivers. Any of these drivers that we have mentioned so far, and a lot of these drivers that we have seen here in the Xfinity Series, I would be happy to see up in our Cup Series, help mentor them, get them a good Cup Series start, and see what they can do.
Yeah, and in real life, right? We're seeing it right now play out in real life. Ty Gibbs, sorry, not Ty Dillon. Ty Gibbs getting his Cup Series nod, filling in for Kurt Busch. Circumstances happen. What does he do? Oh, top 20, top 15, top 10 today. Like, he is just rolling, given the opportunity that's put in front of him. We could very well see art imitate life here through iRacing as we take a look at these Xfinity drivers. So I hope that you are as excited as we are taking a look here at the Ghost Xfinity Series and seeing some of these favorites move forward early into the season. A lot can change. It's very early. This week is only week 5, but these are the names that are coming forward that have said, we're going to be around, we're going to stick around and really compete for a championship. David, any final thoughts as we conclude our time together talking about the favorites of the Xfinity Series?
looking at these drivers, just encourage them to continue to hold that dominance on this league and really push these other drivers to push themselves to come up and beat them. You know, they're in that spot. Come beat me. I am winning this championship. If you want it, you're going to have to take it from me. For those other drivers that maybe are looking up at them in the point standing, here's your challenge. Here are the people that you have to beat week to week in order to earn your spot in that championship for and ultimately win the championship. So my challenge to those other drivers is chase these guys down, take some time, maybe learn from them, and good luck.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. And until we meet again here on SMRN, my name is Zach, and for my buddy David, just remember to keep on racing.